when you have time to reflect now, Greg, and you sit quietly and you look back on your entire career, is there anything you regret? Anything you would have done different? Even I'm thinking, even post career, do you regret taking that battle to Armstrong?
I didn't take it to him. That's the irony. I was armed with so much more information than I even let out. By this 2000s, when his mechanic, Julie DeVries, told me what's going on, and I didn't come public with that. And the irony is I kept hearing stuff that was brought to me. I never sought it out. I mean, I remember in 1999, I think James Stark, he'll hear this, but he called me in October. He said, "Oh, Greg, because I was a big cheerleader for Armstrong. I don't think it's real." And he said, I heard about this hospital scene where he admitted to all these drugs. So I heard that. I kind of dismissed it. I remember hearing a teammate of mine tell me that Armstrong, before this 1990 tour, that he's going to win it. He has something that's undetectable. And I kind of left that off. And then I found out he was Ferrari. That was the deal for me. It was a deal killer. But I was caught in an interview with David Walsh at my home after the 2001 tour. And he had just outed Armstrong and Ferrari's relationship before the tour. And Armstrong got wind of it. And to me, you can't be this clean rider and have a relation with Ferrari. But he preempted it with this magical PR deal, announcing it before the article came out in the newspaper that he was using Ferrari for diet and training for the hour record. Well, he never did the hour record, and it was a way to diffuse the shock of that news. And I just one time just said, "David, you're going in the right direction," because I knew that he was, seeing Ferrari. He said, and I said, my mom taught me, and I remember in 2000 when I learned about what Armstrong was doing just from Julian. My mom taught me, my parents, if I don't have any good thing to say, don't say it at all. And so I had tried to figure out even a comment in 2000 when Armstrong won, because unfortunately for me, I was the American rider and he was a new rider. This winning the tour, and everybody called me, tell me, ask me my opinion. And I remember 2000, all I could say that was honest to me was, I didn't want to be the one that broke the news. I just said his victory is unbelievable. And so you take it two ways. It's not believable or it's unbelievable. I don't know. It was one way I could be honest with myself. And then I think 2001, David Walsh, I did not know it was him. I got a ring, I think 3-4 days after the tour, a week after. And, "Hey, Greg, this is David." I said, "Hey, David, how you doing?" And wanted me to comment on his victory. And I said, "David, I have nothing I say will be good. It will be taken as whatever you want to take it, and it will be not good." And he said, he wanted to get me to, he knew what I congratulated him on his investigative reporting, but he wanted a quote from me. And I said, "I have nothing good to say." And he said, "Well, would you agree that if he's clean, it'd be the greatest comeback in the history of sport?" And I said, yes. And if he wasn't, I said, "Well, it'd be the greatest fraud." Well, newspaper came out, Greg LeMond, greatest comeback. And it became my quote. And Armstrong called me up a week later and threatened me. And I had Trek CEO, I had Tom Weisel all threatening me. And, USA Today, a guy named Sal Rubel came out with an apology for me, which I never gave. And it was like I was not given a choice. I was going to have my bike company, everything destroyed. I didn't go along with it, but I refused to even sign off on the press release, but it came out anyways. And so I didn't start that battle, Armstrong did. But he started because he knows that I knew that he's the one. They used the early political strategy, what you see today. They had a group called Public Strategies, which was they were political people, a consulting group that would attack political opponents and with false information. And they started creating this kind of Greg's a sore loser. I still remember in 1994, I did an interview with Le Monde, and I just said Armstrong is threatening my way of life. It did come out as he's threatened my life. I said he's threatening my way of living. But I remember Trek.
What did you mean by that?
Well, I was pretty open to saying, I can't really comment. I said, he has basically used attorneys and relations with Trek, and he's threatening my way of making a living if I speak out. And I said, I'm kind of looking. I figured Armstrong could get busted, and I thought I had a good relation with Trek and John Burke, and I figured one day it's going to get busted. I didn't want to destroy what I thought was a good relationship, but I was asked more about, why aren't you commenting? I said, because I'm got a gag order on me. I said, if I talk, my bike's going to be destroyed. And so it came out that he threatened my way of life. And I remember my attorney getting a call from Trek saying the contract's over. For what? Because what? He said, well, apparently an interview with you said that Armstrong threatened your life. I said, what? Well, I said he's threatening my way of life. He said, it doesn't matter. And he said, well, it hit the press. And I said, what? It was supposed to come on Sunday. I looked in Google or whatever is at that time, the news source in 2004. It had not even hit the U.S. news. And Trek claimed it did. And then they produced all these supposed emails that I was going to buy a Le Mans. Now I'm not going to buy Le Mans, or I'm not going to buy Trek. They produced 100 of them before the news even got to the U.S. They're all fake. They did this. And this is kind of the stuff that they, Trek and Armstrong, and they did to me for years.
So if you like this video, you should definitely check out this video because I know you're going to love it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel.